welcome to the Blythe Starlight channel. My name is Therese Tucker and this is What in the World event readings. And this video is about Canada's Bill C11, which is a full censoring of internet access, as I understand it. So basically, and anyone who's actually Canadian who knows what this bill is, if you want to add to it, please drop it in the comments. But as I understand it, what this bill does is it basically allows the government to censor people and what they say and possibly even watch on the internet, with the ability to possibly block them. So if they deem something as hateful or wrong, they can basically take you off the internet, as I understand it. In a nutshell, it's a major censorship bill that would allow the government to censor the people of Canada and their use of the internet however the government sees fit. And so the questions today are about this bill. Now, it's already been enacted as of last week, so apparently it's live. So we have a few questions about whether or not it stays around, who implemented it, and what happens moving forward. The first question I want to ask, and I'm going to use my pendulums, I want to ask, will this bill get walked back? Meaning, will it be taken out of law? So it's currently in law right now. Will it be walked back and taken out of law? And then I want to find out if we can get a time period on that. So, from the highest truth, will Canada's C11 bill get walked back? Yes or no? Hopefully you guys can see that. It was a yes. So this bill does get walked back, which is what I thought. So it isn't a fair bill, and it definitely wouldn't pass if it was a place like the United States. That would definitely go against our rights. But it sounds like this bill does get walked back. So let's find out if it gets walked back in 2023 or moving forward. Okay, so I get that the bill will get walked back in 2023, but it was a very soft yes, which gives me the feeling that it might be towards the end of the year. So you might see this bill enacted throughout the summer and maybe see a change happening either in late autumn or in the winter of 2023. So now the next question I have is, why did this bill get passed? So we're going to find out, actually, let's find out who's behind it first, because that might help us understand why the bill got passed. So we're going to ask if the white hats are behind the passing of this bill or not. Okay, so I get that it was not the white hats that are behind the passing of Canada's C11 censorship bill. So let's just double check and find out if it's actually the black hats, the dark hats, because it could be something else in between those two, in between those groups. So let's find out. All right, so I get a yes on that. So it is the black hats who are behind the passing of that bill. And just what I'm hearing from my team as I'm talking right now is why it got passed is it was ultimately the next step in the plan. It's actually mirroring what's coming for the US, which is potentially a type of information blackout. And this bill being passed in Canada would allow that to be set in place. So it mirrors what would come, what the black hats would do in the United States should information spread too far for that they feel like they couldn't handle it or cajole it back in, that they would create a type of information blackout. So let's find out, why was this bill passed? We're going to ask this card. By the way, if something were to happen to my YouTube channel because maybe I say something that doesn't sit well with those who are in control, you can always find the Blythe Starlight channel on Rumble, and I will put a link below so that you can easily access that. but it's already set up. All these videos are already streaming to my Rumble channel, and you can always find me there. So it's definitely a move that was intended. It does have a purpose in blocking communication, but more importantly, it was to lower morale. And that was one of the things, was to get you to believe that they have any kind of control and that they're controlling your lives. Because as long as you feel that, you're sort of agreeing with them. So they want you to agree that they're in control and they can control your life. So it was meant to dampen you. It was meant to lower your frequency. It was meant to disappoint you. It was meant to create that loosh that they so love to create, because that feeds the negative energy. So just knowing that, fight back by not allowing it to take you down. They have no real power. None of these people do. This idea that we have something governing over us. You are a sovereign being, right? You are sovereign in the eyes of Source. We're all connected. We're all sovereign. This idea that people rule over other people is a ridiculous illusion, but nevertheless, it's an illusion we've all kind of bought. And definitely from that third density perspective, we all pretty much bought into it when, well, it exists, so it must be true. It's not. It's a made up illusion, and this is meant to reinforce that. And they do it by making you feel pain and suffering and showing you, look, I can create your pain and suffering, and I can also alleviate it. No, they can't. They can get you to agree that you feel pain and suffering, but they can't actually create your feelings. You create your feelings. Right? And we have to just remember that and take that power back, that you can do whatever you want. I am free and I am sovereign, and you can't force me to do anything. I do it by choice. Even if it's an unconscious choice, it's still my choice. Then the next question around this is, will the passing of this bill have a negative impact on anyone who is a light worker or a service to others polarity? Will this bill negatively impact you? I'm assuming also your business. So let's ask the pendulum first. What's interesting is I get mostly no with like a tiny circle, and that's not a yes, that's like a potentially or maybe. And what I'm hearing the team say is, again, it's your choice. Does this impact you or not, right? Where there is a will, there is a way. So all the cliches are coming forward, but when God closes one door, another door opens, or a window opens, right? And they want you to consider that nothing can stop the light, right? The darkness cannot stop the light. The light can illuminate the dark, though, right? I mean, it is even with an eclipse, which is really interesting, because at the time I'm filming this, an eclipse is coming in a few days, a lunar eclipse. But even with an eclipse, it's temporary eclipsing. It cannot maintain darkness. So the darkness only gets like a few minutes at most of really relishing in, I've eclipsed the light. It's not sustainable. It can't happen. It's not natural. The light, however, can illuminate all dark spaces. And that's why even a little light is a threat to those who wish to live in the dark, because even that little bit of light, it ruins the atmosphere. I want you to go into a dark space and have a little flashlight or a little match or something like that, and see what you see, right? Everything has light cast upon it. Nothing can really hide in the shadows when even a tiny amount of light is present. So you will not be totally eclipsed by this. You might be temporarily eclipsed, but that's a choice that you would make, and the choice might be mostly unconscious, meaning that you're like, oh my God, look what they've done, and they've taken this away. That only works if you believe they've taken something away, and they can throw that illusion all over you. Look what I took away. They can't. They really can't. And so again, it's just us giving over power. It's never them actually having your power. It's you giving it. And as soon as you realize I've given power to something, you can take it right back. So I've already gone over how long it seems like it'll last. And again, I'm getting that definitely the end of 2023, possibly the beginning of 2024, but it seems like very much something happens where it fizzles out and it doesn't last that long. I think my final question, the final question I have, is there anything people can do now to change this around faster? So how do we change it from being the blocking or censoring to absolute freedom? So what can we do to create the absolute freedom we seek now? So it's a really interesting answer that we get. We get the Two of Swords and the Four of Wands. And basically together this says, actively decide that you have won. This is a victory card right here, or it says completion. This is peace. So this is about, this is kind of came up in this position. It's about making an active decision. If you leave it at this point, you're kind of saying, when it shows up in an upright position, it's kind of saying there's nothing to do right now. Just sit and be with it. But it came up in this position, which shows me you really do have a choice. You can sit and be with it, or you can make an active decision. The choice is still up to you, and that's very much the message my team is really trying to hit home with this one, is like, do not let yourself believe that you're not an active participant in this, even though it feels like it's above you and you can't go into your Congress or Parliament or whatever structure Canada has and be like, take this down, I don't agree to it. You might feel like, because I can't do that, or that's not going to happen, that I have no power. Actively decide you do. So one of the messages that's been coming through a lot today in the readings I've done is, what you put out, you get back. So if you put out that you're at a standstill, you get back you're at a standstill. If you put out that I actively decide that I have won, this is a peace, happiness, contentment. Four of Wands is a very good card to get. And it's stable, right? It's lasting. It's got, the four represents that square or the earth or the house, right? It's a stable structure, stable house, stable victory. I actively decide that I've won, that I'm winning, that the light has won. In doing so, you stabilize that as the timeline you're on. This is a very important task for us to understand, all of us moving forward. You're waiting for that timeline to appear, but what you don't realize is you're calling it in and you're creating it. By stating that it's here and you have it, you're raising yourself up to the frequency of it. Now all we have to do is raise up and maintain. And that's one of the messages that's been coming through as well. It's like, not only do you make the decision that you're there, you maintain it. So that no matter what they're showing you, what they want you to believe, just remember, their job is to show you a vision, to get you to say yes to it, to get you to believe in it, get you to succumb to it. As soon as you do that, you're enforcing their vision. Your job is to make a decision. What vision do you want to enforce? Decide upon it and hold it. That is what's happening. I don't care what you show me. I know what's happening because I've made a choice about it. Our choices are powerful, and it's where manifestation occurs. Your decision is a 0-point energy, and as soon as you get there, you're in the quantum field and you are choosing a timeline. And it's really kind of that simple. The trick is, don't let them, they're going to push on you. They're going to try and knock you off center. They're going to try and pull the rug out from under you. And you have to come back, you have to be like those, those punching clown things, those like wobbly clown things, and you hit it and it sways, but then it uprights itself. It's like, we've got to be like that. You've got to be able to take these hits and come right back. That's going to be the thing that maybe annoys the darkness the most, is that you can't be taken out. We used to be able to get taken out, and they were able to eclipse our true power for a long time. We're not in that place anymore. People have gotten more resilient, especially over the last 3 years. And some of us have taken a lot of punches and we're still standing. And that annoys the crap out of them. And as while they're annoyed, it increases their fear, increases their sense of helplessness, and they'll get reactive. We're going to watch that. We are watching it, and they will get more reactive. But your job is to find your center again and again. And say, you know what's a good movie for this? The the first Doctor Strange movie, I don't know if there's been more, but the first Doctor Strange movie, and sorry for the spoiler, but at the end, he sort of meets the big bad guy at the end, and he's got his little time dilation thing. But what happens is this big thing at the end, and the bad guy is like trying to say, yeah, I've gotten you, you're destroyed, you're in my world, you'll never survive, blah, 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 blah. I've taken over and I've won, ha, ha, ha. And he just keeps coming back and coming back to the point where this negative entity is like, go away. Like, what do I have to do to get rid of you? And he just keeps coming back. And in that, it's almost it almost drives the evil, the darkness insane, because they can't win. And they realize they're trapped in a cycle of this forever until they acquiesce. And it's almost like we've got to be that Doctor Strange character who just, no matter how many times you hit me with this, I keep coming back. And I keep coming back to the highest timeline. We have won. There's nothing you can do. You have no power over me. I am a sovereign entity. And I am protected by the most divine force in the entire being that is the universe and beyond. Once you keep coming back to that, it's like no matter how many times they try to hit you, they're exhausting themselves and you are staying centered in your power. So I hope that this message, when you hear it, it helps you feel your own strength and grounding and foundation, and recognize that they're going to throw lots of illusions at you, but it's what you choose to give your energy to that plays out. So choose wisely. Mwah.